Can you hear me?
Hello, yes, I can hear you. Jack, can
I
you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Oh, good, good, good.
We got there. We did it.
We did it
We did
finally.
it.
Hello, Jack. How are you? It's good to
Um,
meet you.
yeah, lovely to meet you. Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate you you doing this, Tiamat. I appreciate you taking the time.
Oh, well, thank you for inviting me to your show. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's an honor to be here with you.
Yeah, likewise, likewise.
Now, as you can tell, I'm wearing a wig today.
Looks great. You look fabulous. Can I just say?
Thank you. Thank you. This is the first interview I've ever done where I'm wearing a wig.
I'm honored.
I was just in the mood to wear a wig, so I wanted
Fantastic.
to wear a wig for you.
I'm honored that this is the first interview that you're wearing a wig.
Thank you.
You
Thank
look
you.
great.
Thank you.
So yeah, Tiamat. Yeah, like I said, thank you so much for being here. I found you on the internet. I found your story incredibly unique and interesting. And yeah, I was really curious to explore a bit more about your story, since it is a very, very unique one. So for those who are just listening, are you able to possibly describe yourself to the listeners?
Yes, I am. I am. I can do that. My name is Tiamat Medusa, also known as the Dragon Lady. And I mentioned that because I don't want people to forget that I'm now going by the name entitled Legion the Dragon, and there's a reason for that, and we can talk about that. But it's important for me to let people know that although I'm not officially going by the Dragon Lady anymore, and there's a reason for that too. I still am known as the Dragon Lady, so I don't want people to forget that. So I'm coming to you as the Dragon Lady, intentionally, because I want to talk about why I chose to drop the title Dragon Lady, and I'm happy to share that with you with your audience.
Yeah, I'd love to
Because
hear.
and so the reason I'm dropping the name Dragon Lady is because I gender non-binary person, and so therefore lady gives me a gender. It puts me in a gender category as a woman. And I don't want to be known as a woman or as a lady. I want to be known as a non-binary, non-gender creature. I feel a lot more comfortable being genderless and what's the word I'm looking for? Um, and androgynous.
Androgynous, right, right.
Yes, and so therefore that is why I dropped the title lady, and I just go by Legion the Dragon, and Legion is my middle name, my legal middle name. So I am going by my legal middle name, which is Legion the Dragon, and so that's me in a nutshell.
Fantastic.
I'm an ex-banker. I'm an ex-vice president banker. I used to work in white collar America. I miss those days. I miss that job. I miss that life
Really?
very much. And it was those years were some of the best years of my life. But I'm totally loving living my life as a dragon now.
Fantastic. So, I mean, sorry, go on.
It's okay. I was born in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, and I now live in deep in the heart of South Texas, close to the to the U.S. Mexican border at Laredo, Texas.
Wonderful. So yeah, you mentioned that you went from being, I didn't realize you what, a vice president banker. I mean, you're quite high up in your field at the time.
I had a very important job as a banker. I was a client manager of a diverse portfolio of clients, and some pretty large clients, and it was very rewarding for me to have done that, to have been that, to have that as something that I can look back at and be proud of that I was able to accomplish that.
Right. So what was life for you like before you underwent this this transition? Yeah, what was your life? What was your kind of identity? How did you just kind of, how are you just kind of getting through the world?
Well, before I became a dragon, I was just a regular person. I was a banker and a father, and just I lived my life like just like anybody else did, 24/7, worrying about my job and going shopping and doing regular things that other regular people do. And I kind of still live my life and doing regular things, but the way I do things and now has changed to some. Some of the things that I used to do, I don't do anymore, because they're either not required to as part of my new life, or I was forced to make changes because of my new way of life, such as I don't go anywhere alone. If I can afford can keep from doing so, I like to take my brother with me whenever I go anywhere, because he's my protection. He's my protector.
Right. Do you, so of it, you feel you need protection? Do people, is it a kind of, is it a bit of a scary world kind of going through the, you know, the world as a dragon with the
Well,
modifications that you have?
honestly, Jack, it is a scary world for me to live the way I do, especially being a transgender woman. It makes it even more scary. So
Mm.
if you think trans women out there, if you think it's scary for you, can you imagine being as extremely modified as well? Add that to your list of check marks of things that you have to be worried about. Then you'll see what it's really like to be scared, to be a transsexual in this world today.
Mm. So how old were you when you were working at the bank, and you, I guess maybe you could walk me through, yeah, at what point in your life, how old were you, and what were you kind of going through that led you to need to make radical change?
Well, I'm also a father. I have a
Yeah,
son,
yeah,
but my son and I don't speak, so he's not part of my life anymore. So I don't talk about him, and I'm not going to talk about him in this interview, other
sure,
than what I have just said.
no problem.
So yeah. Anyway, so what led me to make the change that I'm making. There's a lot of childhood trauma. I was traumatized as a child by my stepdad, who abused me, and then the abuse continued with my grandfather who raised me. But I was abandoned when I was a kid, left in the woods by my mother and my stepdad, and um, uh, that trauma is something that I live with every day, even now, and so it still affects me. So I decided that changing myself, doing my body modification, is something, was something that was very challenging to my own self and to my own will, and to the testament that I myself uh, uh, choose to love myself, while my mother and my dad and my stepmom didn't do, and they were not there for me when I needed them, and uh, um, I chose to change myself, and to be what I wanted to be, and without having to ask anyone's permission, or without needing anyone's permission, and uh, and uh, and to make myself into something that I loved, instead of something that I hated, because I hated myself. I hated my old life, and now I don't. I don't hate myself, and I don't hate my life. I love myself more than I ever did, and I'm glad that I made the changes that I did.
That's first of all, I'm so sorry to hear about the hardship that you've gone through. And I find it amazing when anyone can actually bring it back to love, bring it back to self-love, self-acceptance. I feel like in a situation that you have grown up with, it would be very, very easy to become bitter, angry, unloving, and to turn that back into, radical self-acceptance and just carving out the exact life that you want, I think is a great thing. So I just want to give you a big respect for that.
Thank you, Jack.
Yeah. So was it difficult leaving your job? What happened when you, what were the first steps? I mean, sorry, before I go there, for those just only listening, you have had many body modifications. You've undergone many surgeries, many tattoos, some big changes, big changes. Maybe you can just outline some of the changes that you've undergone.
Of course, yes. I think that would be good, and not in no particular order, but from head to toe, I have 18 horns on my head. I have the white part of my eyes, the sclera, tattooed green permanently, and I pulled my face fully tattooed, my body about 85% outlined, and some of it tattooed. I'm tattooed down to my sleeves, from my head, from my neck rather, from my face here,
Forehead.
down to my sleeves. I'm tattooed, and
Right.
I'm outlined the rest of my body, and I have split my tongue.
Wow. You're moving both sides.
Yeah, it's fun. And I have had most of my teeth removed, and I broke one of my fangs. So right now I'm a snaggle-tooth dragon with only one fang. So, or you can maybe I should change my dragon name to One Fang, or Snaggletooth. Snaggletooth. I think Snaggletooth would be a good nickname for me right now. Don't
I
you
like
think so?
Snaggletooth. I like Snaggletooth. It's
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
How did you break it? Eating?
Well, I was biting on a piece of ice, and I knew that I should not have done that. I just knew that I should not have done that, but I never eat ice. I mean, I never munch on ice. But that night, I was with my best friend Mauricio, at a Hollywood club, watching a drag show, and I was biting on a piece of ice, and so that no-no was costly, because now it's not snaggletooth dragon, but I'm in the process of getting the rest of my teeth pulled out, and I'm
Wow.
going to get this. I'm just going to get dentures.
Right, right.
And
I have,
I plan to have my dentures filed, sharpened,
right. I have
so
lots
I
of
can have.
questions about the teeth, but so what else have you done? I've seen your nostrils are, have they been
Yes,
removed?
yes, yes. I have had my nose removed, all of the cartilage in my nose removed. So
Wow.
I have no nose, and I have had both my ears removed, and I was not born with dimples, but I have dimples because I got my cheeks pierced, the cheeks on my face pierced, and therefore I have dimples. After I removed the jewelry, the whole kind of stays there. So I have dimples, and I love my dimples. And what else? What else? I think that's pretty much it.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So is the transformation complete? What is there more to come?
Oh no, I have. It's not complete. I also have had an orchiectomy, which is the removal of my testicles. So I have had a castration
Mhm.
done, which I'm very happy about, and I have had a prostatectomy as well, because I wanted all my male parts gone. I wanted nothing to do with male parts. So all I have is Mr. Bojangles dangling between my legs right now.
And is there more? Are you going to have any more implants? Anything else? More, is the tattoo work still yet to come, or are you're pretty
Yes,
happy with
yes.
how it's looking?
Oh yes, I'm happy with how things are looking, but there are going to be some more implants coming,
Hmm.
in the form of horns. I'm going to have more horns added to my head.
Wow,
So I right now hold the world record for the most horns,
fantastic.
and I plan on breaking that record.
Amazing. So, I mean, with some of these, I mean, I hope you don't mind me saying, like, I guess more extreme body modifications that you've had. Have you had any complications or practicality issues? I mean, removing your teeth. I mean, how does that, for example, work with just kind of getting by, speech, obviously eating, things like that?
Well, having my teeth removed has been rather a challenge to me, because I like the look that it has given me, which is very positive, a positive effect
Hmm.
of the procedures. But having that, there is the other side of the coin, which is the opposite, the negative effect, which is it has affected the way I eat. So I have to I can't chew on anything that's hard or crispy anymore.
Definitely not ice.
So yeah, I cannot eat fresh vegetables anymore. But the good thing is I can still eat bugs.
Still eat bugs.
I can still eat bugs.
What bugs?
My favorite bug is the cicada.
Really? Do you eat them raw or do you fry them up?
I eat them both ways. I eat them either raw or fry them up.
Wow. That's amazing.
Thank you. Yes, I love my bugs. I
Well,
like bugs. I like June bugs. I like roly polies, and those are the only three bugs that I've tried to eat right now. And mealworms are okay, but they're a little too crunchy for me.
right.
There's more crunch there than it's worth it to me. I like something that's a little more juicy, like a June bug and a cicada, something that has meat, something that has what I call meat. This is, I mean, it's whatever, it's sludge, whatever is in there. But I need something that's a little more squishy.
If you ever come to Australia, you'll have to try Wichita grubs. It's
Grub.
yeah, it's a common bush tucker. It's a big, fat, white kind of big grub, kind of like a worm caterpillar thing underground, and very
Oh,
nutritious apparently. I've never tried one myself, but you
I
might
would
like them.
love that.
Yeah.
I would totally be down to having myself a meal, a grub meal.
A grub meal. What's a roly poly? You said. What's that?
A roly poly is a little, yeah, a little purple bug.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a small little bug that has. I don't know how to describe it. It looks like a little armadillo.
Okay. Oh, I think I
Okay.
know. I think we call them slaters. We call it like yeah, I think I know what you're talking. And they roll up into a little ball.
Yeah, they roll up into a little ball to hide. Yeah.
Right. Gotcha. So, and okay, back to like the nose and the ears. Is your hearing affected by removing your entire ear?
Well, the thing is that people can't talk behind my back anymore. I see, I can hear them. I can hear what they're saying. You know, they're whispering. They're trying to. They're trying to uh, talk about me and plan and plan to do things about me. And I can hear them. And I can catch them in the act.
Excellent. So it's an improvement.
No, it's actually been quite. It's actually more. The sounds that I hear are a lot louder,
Right.
but some are muffled. If someone talks to me and they whisper, I cannot hear them. They cannot whisper. I cannot hear them.
Hmm.
They have to speak a little louder to me.
Yeah.
If someone mumbles at me, I can't hear what they're saying.
Right. Has your sense of smell been altered at all, or is that all? That's all kind of internal, right? So that hasn't really affected your sense of smell or anything, or your breathing.
No, it hasn't affected my breathing. It's just that I get clogged. I get my nose gets clogged. Every 3 days, I have to blow hard and blow out a big wad of snot.
Yep, it's got to be done.
About every 3 days, it gets like, because I no longer have the hairs in my nose to protect it from particles going in there and getting stuck in there.
Right.
So I have more more junk and stuff going in my nose that most people have. So it gets caught and stays in there, and then when they build up, my nose tends to get stopped up. But then I just blow and ends up blowing a big wad out.
Hey, I do that too, and I haven't even had my nose removed. I've just got a lot of mucus.
Yeah, yeah.
And I hope you don't mind me asking, but having your genitals removed, has that created problems? Is it kind of business as usual? Like, I mean, I guess I'm just asking whether this is affecting your basic functions and whether it's, unforeseen problems have arisen down the track.
Oh no! Oh no! Having my balls taken off has been one of the best things, one of the best decisions I've ever made in my lifetime. I'm so glad they're gone. I wish I had gotten them taken off a long time ago.
Mm.
They should never have been there in the first place. I feel so good having my testicles gone, Jack. It's just incredible. It's an incredible feeling. It's so liberating. It just feels like so, yes, yay.
Great. Does that affect I have no idea, but does that affect your, I guess, hormonal mood and things? Because I guess like, I don't even know actually. Is testosterone produced in the balls, or is that not accurate? I don't even know. I'm sorry.
Yes, testosterone is produced in the genitals,
Right.
and so it does affect my testosterone. So
Hmm.
I have that conversation with my doctor as to whether or not I need to be taking testosterone right now. I mean not testosterone, estrogen right anymore right now, since I don't you know have the issue of producing hormones right now. But I really wish that I hope that she tell me that I can still take it if I want to,
Hmm.
because I don't want to lose my boobs. I don't want to lose my boobs, and I don't want saggy boobs. I
Right.
don't want I have two beautiful B cup or full C cup, not yeah, full C cup boobs, and I don't want them to start sagging on me.
Right. And estrogen will help with that.
Yeah, estrogen helps keep them nice and plump.
Great.
They're just so beautiful. They're nice and plump. I just love touching my boobies. It feels so
Fantastic.
pretty.
I'm great. I like touching boobies too.
They feel so good. They just feel so good.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I'm really happy that that you're over the moon with all this. That's I can yeah, that's great. How did you decide on wanting to be a dragon? How did that aspect so I imagine you initially were kind of battling with the idea of your gender and deciding. I'm guessing that was the first kind of revelation that you would have made was the gender issue, and then the dragon interspecies transition came later, or is that not accurate?
Well, they basically both kind of happened almost simultaneously.
Right.
I became a woman at the same time that I decided to become a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
And that my decision to become a woman was made in 2011, and then that's when I was also became also chose to become a dragon. And both journeys are intersected. They're both interwoven with one another.
How old were you when that
Both.
when that revelation came about?
How old was I?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think I was probably um I think I was 50 years old.
Right, right.
I'm now 61 years old.
Oh, wow. So this is all just in the last decade.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
It's something that's been fairly new.
Fantastic. Well, so
Thank you.
did you begin this transition while you were still having a job, or did you decide to kind of change your life initially before the changes
No,
came?
no. Let me explain to you about my job. I found out that I was HIV positive, and so I made the decision to leave corporate banking and I changed my life 360 degrees, and changed everything about it. I liquidated my assets, and I paid all my bills away, and sold everything that I thought I didn't need, because I was about to die, and I was at death's doorstep. But I persevered with my medications. Take I was in a couple of studies, and I persevered, and here I am, still alive, and still kicking, kicking, and now that I'm a rattlesnake, I'm hissing. But So I decided to leave the bank at that time and just spend my life taking care of my health and taking care of myself and living my life the way I wanted to live it. And that's I've always wanted to tattoo myself and change myself into a dragon, and that's what I'm doing.
I'm so glad you're still, you're healthy and your medication has been working. I'm sorry to hear about that diagnosis, but you look like you're doing well. You look like you're
Thank you.
overcoming.
Thank you. I'm doing much better. I'm doing much better now.
Great, great,
My doctor gave me a really good report just recently.
great, fantastic. I'm
Thank
really
you.
glad to hear that. How did those close to you and those around you uh, make sense of this big radical transformation that you've undergone? Have you had support from those around you? Has it been challenging?
Well, I know that it's been challenging for everybody because everybody, it's not, it wasn't just, me changing my appearance. It was also me changing my name. Everybody was used to calling me by my birth name, and for my family to remember to call me by my chosen name, it has been really hard for them, and I can certainly understand that, and I can appreciate that. So they still call me Rick and Ricky, which it kind of tickles me when I hear them say that, and I'm okay with that because they're my family, and though it's okay if they want to call me Rick and Ricky, it's all right. They're my family. They have my permission to do that. But it was the body mod changes. So some of them can't deal with, and some of them can deal with it, and some of them are okay with it.
Great,
So
wonderful.
I have support from some of the family, and I don't have support from some of the family.
Right. How about so you've changed your name a number of times, I believe. What pronouns do you prefer? Is that important to you as well?
Right now, the pronouns, yes. But the pronoun that I have chosen, and that's a pronoun that I am now legally, which is it. So I
It.
am basically my pronoun is it, and my new um, gender marker on my birth certificate is now non-binary.
Hmm. And again, back to why you chose a dragon. Why was a dragon the thing that you feel most comfortable with? Was that is there any particular reason that you can trace, or was that just a natural feeling?
It had lots to do with the person that used to be my son.
Right.
It had a lot. I had a lot to do with him. When he stepped out of my life, it hurt me so badly and cut me so deeply that I had to do something to try to hold on to him with, and the only way that I chose to knew that I could do that was to become a dragon, because when he was a little baby, we used to watch Pokemon together, and we used to play with the Pokemon games and the Pokemon uh, uh, his Pokemon toys, and his favorite Pokemon were the Dragon type, as were mine. So I decided to change myself into one of the Pokemon dragons, or maybe not one of the Pokemon dragons, but into a my own version of a Pokemon dragon for him,
Hmm.
as a way to keep him closer to me.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Has there been I saw one interview or video that you were doing, and at one stage you had to be homeless and were living in a shelter. So I mean, you've had some very difficult times, it would seem. What has kept you from, like I said earlier, becoming bitter? Because you, in all the interviews that I've seen, you really do seem very sweet, very positive, very playful, and yeah, like very, very accepting of the way you are, the way people are, very positive. What kind of work, what's helped you maintain that and not get,
I am just I am by nature a positive person. That's just me, and that's what I wanted an award while I was at the bank for being uh, uh, for customer service because of the way I was. I've always been a positive person, a helpful person, and no matter if things went bad, I was always I would always like to turn the bad into the good, and that's just my nature.
hmm, just your nature? That's great. Hmm. Um, how does the general public respond to you? How do people in general react? Or your neighbors, your community, just the people in the street?
The way the general public reacts towards me is mixed,
Hmm.
mostly positive. Some, strange looks, some surprised looks, and some, oh my God, what the F is that? And some even to the point of, oh my God, you're the devil. You're a sinner. You need to find Jesus. And when they tell me that I need to find Jesus, I always tell them, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know he was lost. I hope you find him."
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
or I tell them, may I suggest that you go look at the temple,
Yeah, yeah. Great response.
just to let them know, don't you come to me with your Jesus. I know the Bible just as much as you, or even better than you do.
Hmm. I did see one video where you were interacting with these, kind of Christian preachers on the street who are holding up signs and things. And again, your technique seems to be kill them with kindness. Do you have any particular groups that, I mean, I assume the religious kind of more religious fanatical groups have take issue with you?
Oh my God, yeah. Well, for the most part, people out there are okay with me because most of the people have seen me either on Caso Cerrado, the court case, or in other blogs and interviews that I've done on television, on the Tosh.0 show that I've been in,
Oh, right.
and I've been featured on a Fox interview on Mundo, and I can just countless, and so most people have seen me, and so that most people always go, "Oh, look, I've seen you on television, I've seen you on Instagram, I've seen you on such and such interview, on such you, I've seen you on a podcast. Can I take my picture with you?" But then there are those the Bible thumpers. Those people are the ones that I love to just. I love interacting with them because I love the way they back down whenever I speak to them, because whenever I speak to them, I stand my ground. I don't let those people push me around.
Good for you. That's great.
Yes.
How do you feel about people, particularly the religious? I'm going to call them fanatics because I think they're blind. I just think, people that push it that far are blinded from a lot of rational thinking. I think any kind of moral person who can see a bit more depth in a person should have compassion in the forefront of the way they view you.
No.
Is that your dog? But yeah, do you think that it seems that a lot of kind of what, you know, religion should be preaching, or what Jesus would be preaching would be acceptance, love, kindness, compassion.
Well,
What do you have any thoughts about that?
Well, whenever the Jesus freaks out there, and I call them Jesus freaks because they freak me out. I mean, those you talk about
Me too.
scary people.
Yeah.
People look at me and they get scared. You talk about scary people. Those Christians out there, preaching, they're waving their Bible, trying to verbalize, throw out Bible verses like it's as if they're the only ones who know anything about the Bible. Those people are the freaks. Those people are the ones that need help. Those people are the ones that need Jesus. One time I was at a bus stop, and this man comes around and he parks behind where I was standing, and so I thought he was calling my attention. So I walked over to his car and I go, "Yes, may I help you?" He goes, "So what is all of that you got on?" Because I had piercings all over my face, and I had my face tattooed. I said, "It's called body modification." And I was showing my horns. I said, "It's called body arts, body modification." He goes, "Well, you need Jesus." I said, "What for?" He goes, "To save you." I said, "You know what? You're exactly right. I do need Jesus. I need him to save me from people like you."
Yeah.
So
Good.
then the only thing he could do is roll up his window and drive off as fast as he could.
Mm. Are
So
you, sorry.
there was another incident where I was on the bus with my son. We were riding the bus, the Houston city bus, and I got on, and this man that was sitting behind, right across from us, started talking to me. He goes, "Oh, I recognize you from television." And I told him, "Well, thank you. Hello, how are you?" So he was like, "Yes, I'm fine." And so he goes, "Yeah, I saw you on a TV show or on an interview." And he goes, so we were talking about doing small talk, and then all of a sudden, this lady started going, "Zzz, zzz, zzz, zzz. He's gonna smite you. He's gonna smite you." When I slapping your hands like that, and so my son and I looked at each other, and we both began to laugh because
Mm.
we thought it was funny. And so the rest of the people in the bus were looking to see what my response was going to be. Everybody on the bus was looking to see how I was going to act. And my son and I stopped at the next bus stop. That's when we got off the bus. So I asked the man. I said, "Oh, what was your name?" He goes, "So it's such Joe such and such." I go, "Hi, I'm Lucifer," and as I shook his hand, and I looked at that lady, and she goes, "Jesus, Jesus, Jesus." And everybody in the bus started laughing at her. So that's just one of the many stories I can share.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like like
But for the most part,
who's
well,
really the weirdo, you know?
yes, yes. But when I first began my modification journey, people were just so scared of even looking at me. They, but people refused to on a full bus. People were standing on the full bus, and the seat next to me would be empty. Nobody would sit next to me, which was perfect by me because most of them stank anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the benefits, I'm sure. You get more space to
Yes.
spread out, you can
Yeah.
relax. Yeah, put your
I
bag
didn't.
on the seat.
I did not mind them not wanting to sit next to me. I did not mind it at all. Trust me. It was. I was loving
Yeah.
it.
Have you found, it sounds like you've, in other interviews I've listened to, you've lived in a few different cities. Have you found that some places are much more accepting than others, and have other places been very challenging to live? You're living in Los Angeles at one point, I believe.
Well, yes, I lived in Los Angeles for 2 years,
Hmm.
and let me tell you, that was a scary, scary experience. I
Really?
lived right I was living in Skid Row,
Oh,
deep in the
okay.
heart of downtown Los Angeles. I will never, ever again in my lifetime ever live in Skid Row. My life was threatened almost on a daily basis there,
Wow.
just because of how I looked, but by homeless people, by people who weren't homeless, by people who were black, by people who were brown, by people who were white, by people who were of all different genders, by the queer, but by the queer people, the queer people. Can you imagine the queer folk attacking me
Hmm.
after fighting for gay rights?
Hmm.
The people in the LGBT community, attacking me for wanting to be myself. Trans women being bitches towards me.
Why do you think that is? What do you think? It's just people are scared of what they don't understand. What do you think is the biggest trigger for them?
I think most of them believe that they're all on drugs. Well,
Hmm.
not all of them, but most of them are on drugs. There's a lot of drug usage there, and a lot of the people are should be in psych wards, and they're running the streets all mad at the world, and they're mad at everything. They're mad at everyone. They're thinking that what they I don't know what they're thinking. Actually, they they're scary. They're scary to be around. But I have been treated nicely and badly in places all across the United States that I have been to. But the most accepting places that I've been to have been College Station,
Uh,
Texas.
right. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
What about,
And
so I mean,
here, here
sorry.
where I live, here where I live, so far I've been here. I arrived here in November of last year, and nobody has bothered me.
Great. Wonderful. How about we talk about the groups that have a problem with you. How about finding community? Have you found much community in possibly it looks like that there really is a kind of body modification scene there, and like a real tattoo scene and things. Have you found community in any of that, or even having done many of the public appearances or television appearances? Have you managed to find a strong community in this journey?
Yes, I have been lucky to be part of the body modification community. The body modification community is worldwide. It's global. It's huge. It's immense. It's countless. There's thousands of modified people all over the world who are now part of who make up the body modification community, and I'm part of that community.
Great.
A lot of us don't get along with each other. We have personal issues with each other because some of us like to act like children.
Right. Right. Um, Back to, we were talking about the kind of Bible bashes before and stuff. I was just wanting to go back to that and just wonder about, do you have, how about spirituality and religion? Has that kind of come into your world at all, or do you reject this, or has a spiritual practice or even a Christian relationship with Jesus, is this anything that's important to you in life?
Well, as far as Christianity, as far as any religion or beliefs, I was born and raised Catholic, but I left that religion and I left Christianity as a whole. And when I was 36 years old, I just decided I just could not anymore with that religion, with that with that cult.
Mm.
I think Catholic Christianity is a cult, and I had it up to here already with them. I just could not. I just could not anymore with their hypocrisy.
Yeah, yeah. What makes you think it's a cult? What mainly sticks out to you that makes you reject that way of it? Yeah, you've just highlighted the hypocrisy.
Basically, what makes me think of them as a cult is that, you know, they claim to be Christians, but they act totally different.
Yeah,
You know, I hear the words of Mahatma Gandhi. I like your Christ, but I don't like your Christians. Your
yeah,
Christians are so unlike your Christ.
yeah. I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. And I don't want to knock all
Yeah,
Christians. I've got some that are lovely, but I think that you're right. There's a vast majority, like we were saying before, who will there's a lacking of practice what you preach, isn't there? In a lot of
exactly.
cases. Yeah.
Well, a lot of Christians, they talk about God this and God that, and Jesus Christ this and Jesus Christ that, but you know, and about how much how good a Christian they are, but hardly, but a very small percentage of them can even recite the Ten Commandments.
Mm, right. You said before when you were diagnosed HIV positive that you're on death's door. You must have you must have thought a lot about death, what that means. How do you feel? What are your thoughts on death, or more even life after death, or even God? Do you believe that there is, having been very close to it, what was that like? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, as far as death is concerned, I do not fear death. I do not fear dying. The only thing that I fear is leaving my loved ones behind.
Hmm.
That's the only thing that I fear. Leaving my three dogs behind, leaving my baby chickens behind, and wondering who's taking care of them, who's going to take care of them, and then who's taking care of my brother, is he happy? What's going to happen to him? Those are the things that I think about. But as far as the afterlife, what's going to happen afterwards? I don't believe that there's a place called heaven or such a thing as heaven, and I don't believe that there's such a thing called hell. If there's a thing called hell, we are living it, baby. We are living it today. That's how I'm thinking.
Getting it out of the way.
Purgatory? Yes, I think purgatory. I think purgatory and hell are both intertwined in the earth and in the life that we live in here today.
Hmm. Framing this world that we're living in today like that, you back to what we were saying earlier, you seem very positive. You still seem, having dealt with so much, I don't know, a lot of hardship, and I'm again really sorry that you've gone through all that, but you do manage to maintain a real positive attitude. I mean, it can't be, you seem to be okay with living, not okay with, but brightening up hell. It can't all be hell, right? There seems to be a bit of heaven in this life too.
There is a little bit. You know how you said that perfectly. I do believe that there's a little bit of a piece of heaven in many parts of this earth. There's the baby chickens that I get to raise. That's a piece of heaven. My brother's cats just had uh, three litters of baby kittens, and they're about to have a fourth one. That that to me is a piece of heaven. Uh, Things that my dogs love, getting to love my dogs and having them in my life is a piece of heaven. things, butterflies. When I catch one, one of them lands on me, that's a piece of heaven. Being able to look at the moon, that's a piece of heaven. And as far as we talked about religion, I don't have religion. I think everything you see around you. Yes, I did make reference of this to this world as a living hell, because some of the things that happen in this world are a living hell. But there are many things in this world that make this world a living heaven.
Yeah. Hey, and again, respect for you for being so positive and bringing that to the table whenever you go out, you know, because it would be very easy to sink. I think very easy to view the world through a really dark lens. I feel that for a lot of people, and it's not always easy work being positive, is it? I'm a very privileged person. I haven't had, you know, anything horrible happen to me in my life. That's even remotely comparable to many people I know. But you know, happiness and love takes work, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It does. You know, when when I was a teenager, I had just come out. I had never been in the closet because I had always been openly gay. Even though I was raised in a small town of 300 people, I was openly gay. So I would never had to come out of the closet to anyone. But when I came out to the world, I came out in Houston, Texas, and my coming out was it was a horrible experience. It was not a fun experience. I was practically raped, but I was raped by two men at the same time. And when I was just 18 years old, and that was my introduction into the gay world. People recently on Facebook, I saw that someone created a group called the Gay 80s. Tell us your stories. And I'm thinking, you don't want to hear my story. I couldn't join the group because my story was going to be a not very good one.
I'm sorry to hear. I really am.
Yeah.
That's horrible. You've lived on both ends of multiple spectrums, I imagine, and even like you say, kind of going through the 80s, and just you've experienced life from a number of angles. It seems. Do you think? How do you think that society is responding to change and progressive change and things like transgender people? Because do you think things are getting a lot better? Do you think you know, where do people need to lift their game, and where have people done well? You know, I watch a lot of American politics. I just find it fascinating. The American right wing seems very fixated on things like gender issues at the moment, culture war issues, things like that. Yeah, living in America, living it through multiple decades of change. How do you view society and our relationship to change, progressive change?
Well, how I view society in relation to change is it's kind of a positive and negative, because it's almost like we have to take 2 steps forward and 3 steps backwards. 2 steps forward and 3 steps backwards. It's like we keep doing that as a society, and I'm talking about how people treat each other culturally, and then how people treat each other because of their gender or their beliefs. And then comes the politics come into play. And then this was the first time I have ever lost any friends or severed my ties with people because of political differences, because they were so strong to the right that I couldn't say that these people were my friends anymore, because they had moved so far to the right, supporting the radical right agenda, that I could not have them as my friends anymore. In my right conscience, in my heart, I could not have those kind of people as my friends, because if we were sitting at a dining room table, I probably would have to leave. I would have to excuse myself. I could not dine with someone like that. I could not do go to a party and enjoy myself with someone like that. I could not go to a wedding and celebrate anything with a person like that. There's nothing that I could do ever with a person like that. So I had to sever ties with people like that. And then here you have the transgender community. The transgender community has a problem, and it's called the transgender community, where people like me are treated with such a great disdain, simply because I chose to to look like a dragon, and so they're thinking that I am I am setting a bad example of what transgender women need to look like, because I don't look just like them.
I see. I see now.
I don't fit their mold of what a transgender woman should look like.
Right.
So
So they almost think you're making a mockery of transgenders people or something like that. Is that
exactly, yes.
so you feel rejected by this community?
Yes. Well, I
Oh,
have it's kind of split.
yeah.
I do have a lot of respect and support from the transgender community, but then there are some that are staunch about it, and just because I don't fit their idea of what it means to be a woman. I don't dress like them. I don't appear like them, and I certainly don't think and act like them.
But it relates back to what we're talking about, the Bible bashers, doesn't it? You know, they're completely missing the point of their own thing. It's just kind of anyone that just goes too far on the radical front, like, you know, they're missing the entire point. I almost see possibly the people that you're talking about that reject you very similar in their ideology to the Bible bashers. You know, they're actually missing the point of what they're all about. The fundamentals. They're
Well,
just the loudest people in the room.
As far as the Bible bashers go, I have had preacher after preacher come after me out in the middle of the street, come after me with their Bible in their hand, telling me that he who changes anything on their body or puts a tattoo on their body is sinning. And I tell them, Jesus said, love me, love one another as I have loved you. And that ends that conversation like that,
Dead
real
in the
quickly.
water. Yep. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, yeah, I'm sorry that you haven't found more. I mean, look, everyone's an individual. When you're talking about a community, we are talking in generalizations, and obviously, you know, like you say, it's split. Everyone's an individual. Everyone has their own interpretations, and I'm sure the ones that reject you, they're just the loudest ones in the room. You know, it's probably an underwhelming. I mean, a loud minority of people who you know, take that approach. I mean, I'm imagining, I don't know, this isn't my experience, this is your experience, but yeah. I'd love to talk about your art. You've become a performance artist. I've seen that you've been doing what do you call it, where they insert hooks in your skin and they suspend you.
Hook
Um,
suspension.
yeah, hook suspension. Yeah.
Yes.
When did you start doing this?
I
It looks amazing, by the way. You have full
thank you.
makeup, you look like metallic almost. It's
Yes.
quite a sight to see. I've just seen it on Instagram, but yeah.
Thank you. Yes, that was a very, very special suspension that I just did. They're called hook suspensions. They're done with shark hooks,
Mm.
and they're put, the hooks are put to the skin and placed on the body in certain parts of the body to evenly to lift the body up off the table wherever the person is, or off the ground if the person is standing or sitting down. And okay, and so I did my first suspension in the year 2003. I did my first suspension, and from there, I've done about probably about total of 9 suspensions.
Wow.
Yes, different types and in different settings.
Mm-hmm.
For performing for shows, and then also doing it in private spaces for spiritual purposes.
Spiritual
Because
purposes? Like
yes, for spiritual purposes, just the way the American Indians do suspensions for spiritual purposes. That's how I do my suspensions for spiritual purposes, as a rite of passage.
wow. Is this a Native American custom?
Yes, it is.
I didn't know that.
Yes, it is a Native American custom.
Wow. So is it kind of ritualistic? Is it kind of like a demonstration to the gods? Sorry about my ignorance. I don't know anything about this, of the spiritual side of body suspension. Can you expand on that?
For me, it's it's a very personal thing for everybody. Actually, for
Mm,
anybody who's doing the suspension, it's a very personal thing, and it's a very personal reason as to why they're doing it. Some people are doing it just for fun, and like for me, for a spiritual thing, I do it as a meditative uh, uh, um, shedding. It's like a shedding of the past,
mm,
shedding of all negative energies, and renewal of self in the spiritual plane.
mm. Do you find pain a somewhat of a spiritual teacher? That might sound like a weird question, but I imagine if you're suspended, you've got hooks in you, your skin is being pulled to its limits. I imagine there's a fair bit of pain involved in that. If you're going into a space of meditation, you're also, I imagine, having a fair conversation with yourself mentally or spiritually, and dealing and overcoming immense stress. Is it? Does that resonate with you at all?
The pain is part of the process. Definitely resonates with me,
Hmm.
and because the pain is part of the process. It's part of the ritual. It's where it's where the point of passage happens when the body feels the pain. Immediately the endorphins kick in and take over, and then there reaches a point where the endorphins reach their maximum, and then the pain is no longer felt.
Right. So it is almost like a personal overcoming as well, right? It is kind of
Yes,
a triumphant
exactly.
feeling.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Wow, amazing, fantastic.
Thank you.
That's great. You've got an exhibition or a performance coming up. I saw you sent me a thing called Skin in the Game. What can you tell us about Skin in the
Yes,
Game?
yes. Well, Skin in the Game is an art show that, that's happening this weekend, and it's in Chicago,
Great.
Illinois, and they're featuring my last suspension that I just did, which is still being featured this weekend at OCD in Chinatown, New York, and will be featured at a art exhibition.
Like a gallery or just a creative space?
It's a creative space because it's an art show. It's an
Right.
art show. It'll be in Ohio in September, but right now it's on exhibition at in Chicago, and also at AOC in Chinatown, New York City. That's where it is this weekend.
Do you get nervous leading up to these leading up to the performances?
I don't get nervous. I get excited because I love hanging from hooks. I love the experience. I just love everything I get out of it,
Yeah.
especially the spiritual side. It's just so beautiful. It's such a beautiful thing to endure.
Hmm. What occupies your time mostly now? I see on Instagram you've really taken to art. I can see some of your paintings and drawings in the background on your wall. Has art and
Yes.
creativity really, is that kind of what takes up most of your time these days?
Yes, I'm an artist, and as that is some of my artwork hanging behind me on the wall,
Looks like a
and I
galaxy.
have yes, it does look like a galaxy.
Great.
Right now, I'm in the process of creating so much artwork that I'm going to try to get ready to get set up, to get myself set up for an art show or at a gallery or so, or at some kind of venue. So to have my own art exhibition.
Great, fantastic. Well, you let me know. I'd love to give any kind of support or promotion that I could help you with there. I don't
Thank
have a
you.
huge audience, but you know,
Thank you.
a lot of people that listen love. It's mostly an art-based audience, so you know,
Oh,
be great.
thank you.
Yeah, be great to share.
Terrific.
um, sorry, I was just about to call you Tiamat, but do you prefer Legion the Dragon?
You can call me Tiamat.
Okay, great. Tiamat, it's been so lovely to speak to you. I think it's great to, yeah, it's a self-worth, self-love, I think is kind of the message that I get from you a lot. Or do you have a message to listeners out there, people that may struggle with just life, you know?
You know, Jack, thank you for asking me that question. As I was getting myself ready, all made up, yesterday's makeup was huge. It was all over my face. I did makeup in my entire face. It looked like I was coming out of some horror show. And because my brother asked me, he saw me, he asked me, are you getting ready for Halloween? So today I decided to do something different because I wanted to wear my wig for you. So I toned it down on the makeup so to correspond with my wig.
Great.
Um, so and as I was doing my makeup yesterday, I was thinking of how this line was crooked and this line was crooked, and I had two lines over here. One shouldn't be there. One shouldn't be over here, and I was having trouble because I have double vision. Can you imagine having double vision, trying to create one straight line when you're seeing double?
You see double?
Yes, I see double.
What's that
So
from?
it's hard. It's hard. So it's hard for me to create one straight line in more than one stroke.
Hmm.
So if I'm creating one straight line, it has to be done in one solid stroke. Because if I try doing it in two strokes, it's going to come out as two separate lines in two separate spaces. And that's the trouble I was dealing with yesterday. So I was looking at myself and how imperfect it was. And then I thought to myself, well, I'm just going to leave it like that because that was going to be for yesterday's interview with you.
Hmm.
I'm just going to leave it like that because that just shows that I'm representing those people who are not perfect,
Right.
those people who are imperfect, who because I don't think I'm the only person out there that has trouble putting on their makeup that doesn't look that beautiful or that flawless, the flawlessness that people are so look, hung up on. People like that. It's like people only celebrate you if you are flawless, if you are perfect, if you are excellent, if you don't have one thing out of place.
Hmm.
So I'm not. I decided that because of my condition, I'm just going to represent those people who are not flawless, those people who are less than thought of, who are seen as not very good, who are those who are not given the gold star or that statue or the first place ribbon or whatever the title that they're wanting. So I'm going to represent the people who are not perfect, those who are less than perfect, with my own disability. That's how I'm going to use my disability
Hmm.
as someone who is not that perfect to represent those people too.
Great. I love it. And just finally, Tiamat, are you happy at this point in your life with everything that you've gone through, all the changes?
Yes, yes, I am very happy. And recently, I found out that I now have dental insurance.
Great.
So I'm going to get my teeth taken care of. So I can get them all the rest of these teeth that I've got in my mouth pulled, and then I can get my dentures.
Hmm. Fantastic.
So and I've got my first appointment with my doctor Monday. So I'm so excited.
Just yeah, before I let you go, also, you just mentioned the doctor. Have you found it difficult finding surgeons that will do some of these really unique procedures? Has that been no problem? Is it just a matter of pay and you get, or is it a difficult process actually sourcing people that will
Well,
remove your ears or nostrils?
Well, I didn't go to a surgeon to remove my nose or my ears. I went to a body modification specialist.
Right, right,
So
right.
and I haven't gone to anyone to get any doctor to do anything that's considered body modification and not regular uh, service procedures
Hmm.
like having my teeth removed. That's I'm going to a dentist to have my teeth removed.
And they were fine doing that? No, no pushback?
No, no pushback.
Great.
To them, it's just getting my teeth removed.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, again, Tiamat, Legion the Dragon, it's been lovely talking to you. A really, really unique life that you're living, and a really a really interesting story that is you. So thank you.
Well, Jack, thank you so much for having me. I sure appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my story. I think I may have babbled on a little bit there,
Not
maybe
at all.
stuttered a little bit,
That's
but
fine.
hopefully it wasn't so bad.
Hey, we embrace
And
our imperfections, don't we?
yes, that's right.
That's
Yeah,
right.
imperfection. We're going for the raw deal here.
How do people find you? If people want to see your body suspension or your art, what's the best way people can either get in contact or just check out what you're doing?
All they have to do is Google Legions the dragon, or Tiamat the lady dragon, Tiamat Medusa the lady dragon, and you can find easy to find on YouTube as Tiamat the lady dragon, and or Legions the dragon through Facebook or Instagram.
Fantastic. Well, again, thank you so much, and thank you all so much for listening. Have a wonderful evening, Tiamat.
Thank you for having me, Jack.
My
And
pleasure.
you have we have a wonderful day ahead as well.
Yeah, I will. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank
Goodbye.
you.
See you. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.